What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the podcast, The Real Rundown. I'm your host, Bruno. I'm here with Pedro this week, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive into it. Welcome to Derry, and just shoot the shit a little bit about the series and anything else that's been going on. Pedro, you haven't been here in a couple of episodes since before Thanksgiving. How you doing, man?
Just catching up on stuff, man. I think this is the time of year when I catch up on everything I missed earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year, and like the best of lists come out, and like the Oscar nominees come out, and all that. So
Yeah, I think we're starting. Scott would provide a little bit more clarity, but I think we're starting the awards season in like a month or two. There was like some awards happening last night. I saw on Twitter a bunch of people giving speeches, and I don't know what the awards were though. I never heard of them, but I just saw a couple of clips. So award season's ramping up. You said you just told me you watched Bugonia. What did you think about that? Paul and I think we talked about that a while back.
Yeah, you guys both saw it in theaters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the time of year too I like, because a lot of these the big movies of the years come out on streaming platforms by now. Yep. So I think the Leo DiCaprio movie, the Paul Thomas Anderson, will probably be out soon.
It should be out very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a Warner Brothers movie. It's almost time, so I'm looking forward to finishing that one. But I saw a few things. I saw Bugonia. I did see Eddington also.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Eddington a few weeks ago. But Bugonia I just saw a few days ago, so I'm fresh off of that, and I thought it was excellent, man. I loved it. So weird. Super weird, just touching up on all these topics that are floating around YouTube and the internet and stuff, and just bringing it all into one thought that Yargos came up with. Man, this guy's excellent. He's on a roll. I haven't seen one movie from him I don't like. He's like that weird. He's that weird director, and
yeah,
he's like a modern day almost David Lynch type.
He's got a vision.
Yeah, and I'm so happy, man, that this movie, like, it didn't let me down. It kind of gave everyone what they wanted. You know, it's like it gave people that didn't want to believe this crazy theory the whole movie, and then at the end, it gave everyone that wanted to believe the alien theory like satisfaction. You know, with that scene of her in the spaceship at the end. So
yeah, it kind of subverted the whole conspiracy basement dwelling weirdo, right? Like a lot of the movie even takes place in the basement because that's where she's captive. But yeah, the whole movie, everything she's saying, you're like, yep, like that's pretty much true. And then regarding like all of his theories and everything. And then it turns out that he was right the whole time, but he was also like a complete loser, weirdo, psychopath, right? So he kind of fits the stereotype of what you would assume he was.
He fits the stereotype of the boy that cried wolf, that like you have no reason to believe this guy. You just think he's a crazy neckbeard basement dweller.
Like everything points out, even like his anti-pharmaceutical, your company killed my mom, like all of that stuff resonates, and all of that stuff is real, which would make you think like the bigger thing is not real, which is the aliens theory, but it ends up being real.
It would make you think crazy that way. His thoughts and his sort of like
his trauma, basically, like you can point to it.
Yeah, and that it, facilitated him going crazy into this whole world. But yeah, man, there's a lot of talking points there. I'm glad this movie was made. I'm glad this film was made, because there's been a lot of people who are into like the whole UFO community.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of stories in the last couple of years, a lot of leaks out, a lot of whistleblowers, a lot of people coming out, a lot of evidence, a lot of documents being declassified. So it's a big big topic right now, and I like that it's nobody's right now, because everyone's saying a little bit of truth, but and that's what we got from the movie, like this guy and his cousin, yeah, they're weird, yeah, they're out there, yeah, they're crazy, but there's some truth to their beliefs, and there's truths to the contrary also. So we've got I don't know, we've got ancient paintings and caves of alien ships and stuff, and lizard people. So who's to say, it's completely wrong? There's some truth to these theories.
Yeah, this is stuff that lives on forever in pop culture and in the deep caves of the internet. But there's also that HBO documentary that came out about a month or two ago that was, had a lot of government officials, in particular Marco Rubio, talking about UFOs. There's been a bunch of Air Force members who have been outspoken about certain footage that's come out. So yeah, it's been pretty topical. Where did you watch Bugonia? Is it on a major streaming platform?
It hasn't hit major streaming yet. I'm sure it'll be out soon, because once there's a good copy out on the internet somewhere,
or you could probably rent it on what's that?
You can rent Fandango? It. Fandango has all this stuff. Once it hits Fandango, once it hits to rent at home, that's how you can watch a lot of this stuff. And then after that, it hits a streaming platform. That's why I said that the Paul Thomas Anderson movie is close to coming out, because you've been able to rent it for a while now.
Yeah, the One Battle After Another, the PTA movie, I want to discuss that with you, because I know you had a really negative, strong first impression, and Paul has strong feelings on it.
I still haven't finished it because it's such a long movie, but I am looking forward to doing it. But maybe as one of the end of the year big favorite movie topics.
Yeah, let's do that when that movie sort of hits streaming, because then it'll have a bigger audience. I know a lot of people are waiting for it to come to HBO Max. It's supposed to arrive later this year or early January. So once it does, I've already watched it again since watching it in theaters. Yeah, we'll discuss that when the three of us get together, because there's a lot of opinions out here. Have you been keeping up with Pluribus?
I have. I am, I think, one episode back. I think I missed the special
the Wednesday episode.
The Wednesday episode. So I'm one behind.
How was your interest after the first two? More interested, less interested?
I think you guys hit the nail on the head on the last episode. I think it did kind of go downhill after the first two, and I agree with what you said. It's not going to be as big of a show as we originally thought, and maybe as it was marketed at first, because I agree with everything you said. A show like that lets the cat out of the bag in the first episode, second episode, you're gonna lose viewers. You're gonna lose that people coming back, trying to see if the next episode will answer more, and
yeah,
I think that's the difference that sets that and Pluribus and Severance apart, is the dangling carrot over your head.
Exactly. Yeah, there's still a lot to be answered, but I just felt, in particular, the pacing got super slow, episode 3 and 4. But I would say the last episode, things got more interesting. So check that out. It's still
I agree. It kind of stalled a little. It got a little linear, flatlined a bit.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Really
there was a 30-minute segment about her going to the grocery store and then them having to fill the grocery store, and I was like, damn, they're really testing the patience of viewers here.
Yeah, and then that's this is another show too that on the topic of Bugonia and these
the aliens. Yeah, aliens are back.
It's almost in everything you consume right now in media, man. It's crazy. It's people are anticipating this big reveal, you know. So
yeah, I like the show. My wife kind of dropped off. She's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it anymore.
It's not for everyone. It's not as wide reaching to an audience as
like Severance was. Like Severance, I remember my wife and I were both like hooked like crazy.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming like very niche, just like Bugonia, you know, it's for certain people. So.
Totally. Let's deep dive into it. Welcome to Derry. That's on HBO Max right now. Let me see where we are in terms of the episodes so far. I think we're 6 in, and I think there are 8.
6 episodes in. Yeah, and I think we're gonna be seeing the last 2.
2 more, yeah. December 7 and December 14, the show wraps up. So it's a good time to sort of recap. I'm of 2 minds on the show. I think I'm infinitely curious to see what's going to happen next and just keep up with the show week to week. And I think it's just cool to follow. But a lot of the writing is really annoying at the same time. It just doesn't feel super strong. So I'm like in one hand, I'm all in, and the other hand, it's like, It's like, I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
What do you, first of all, what is it about the writing you don't like?
I just feel like we don't have enough time with the characters just like hanging out being kids. It's like they're constantly on a mission to go chase this clown or being tortured by the clown. And there's also just no parents ever around. Like everyone is in their little secret space operating at, by themselves. Like you have Charlotte, the wife of the air pilot, who's like entrenched with the police, and this guy who got framed or who got blamed for the murder of the kids. She's like living her little storyline in that world. You have the kids who are obsessed with the clown and constantly going after the clown. You have the air pilot who's like trying to find it under the orders of, the military. It just all feels kind of isolated, and it doesn't feel like very authentic in that way.
Okay, that's exactly what I was gonna talk about with the show and bring up, because it kind of clicked today watching this episode 6. I couldn't, so far it's been a show. I think the show is really good. I like the plot. I like the lore. I like the way everything from this franchise is being explained and revealed. But it's just 6 episodes in. There's this show, even from the first I would say even from the second episode on, the show just didn't click. It just didn't hit. I felt like it was missing something. And I think with this last episode, I realized down the lines of what you're saying, that there's just too many characters on this show, and it's not focusing on one character and their story and developing them and making you care enough about one character. There's just like you said, there's just too much going on with all these different characters. And we're not able to go on this ride and this adventure with just 1 or 2 characters,
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the map, and they're all kind of like constantly just on this mission to drive the plot forward. This last episode we spend a little bit of time with I think his name is Richie, the little dude, and the girl with the glasses.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might
Marge.
be what's his name?
You're talking about Marge, the girl with the glasses?
Yeah. So like they actually got to like enrich. Yeah. So they actually got some screen time where they were just like developing character a little bit and not just
that was
running
cool.
towards
Like
the
they were
next
kind of
thing.
like Rich kind of hinted that he liked her when he saw her
Way back.
eyeball.
Yeah. The kind of stuff that I don't like, for example, where I think it's just a little sloppy, is like, so Charlotte, she's hiding Hank. Basically, Hank has been accused of the murder of kids. He claims he's innocent, and obviously he is innocent to the audience. To the rest of the town, who knows? He's a murderer. So she hides him in this place called the Black Spot, it's like where all the black airmen. It's like kind of like their space. So the day she hides him there, the next day they throw a big party in there, and like the kids are also going to this party where people are like grinding and drinking, and it all feels normal. But I'm like, if I was hiding a guy who is being charged for murder, I'm not going to then throw a party at his hideout. It just, like, little things like that just make no sense. It's just not logical. And that kind of happens, from time to time. This episode, I think, was full of that. Also, there's another scene where the army, let me see if I can find the cast here.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I completely missed that scene. And the reason I missed it is because this is a show that it doesn't have me locked to my couch and watching it. It has me doing other things while it's going on. And then, like, when an important scene is coming up, or like when, I hear, when it sounds like something good's happening, that's when I focus on it. And I think that if it wasn't for this being the It franchise, if this was like a totally new story that hadn't been done before, I probably wouldn't have kept watching the show.
Same. Yeah, same.
But I do like that they are answering questions, answering the, historical aspect of this, and revealing like this entity's origins and background. So that's what keeps bringing me back, is finding answers to all this stuff. But I feel like this
it's like the journey there is sometimes painful.
Yeah. And I feel like I just started this, another thought I had after this episode is like, could this have just been a 2.5-hour movie?
Yeah, I think that's what I said when we first reviewed it. I was like, this feels like this could have been just a movie, because it's the same narrative as a movie, like the same arc.
And it's following the exact same, like you said, arc and storytelling wise as the other movies. They're just doing it across 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And, it just hit me that after this last episode, like, could this have just been a movie, and like undo like all the filler stuff that they've added, and not follow so many characters, and just focus on like the kids and maybe like one of the adult stories, and just make it another movie?
Yeah, I think
could have been an origin movie, and if you needed more time, you could have made it into a part 1 and 2, just like the last 2.
Yeah, or they could have maybe just done like a Pennywise, and I guess this kind of is like a Pennywise origin story, because this is like the exact formula that we've seen in the films, both the new It and the It from the 90s, and it's like cross-cutting or mixed in with like Pennywise origin story, because they do a lot of flashbacks, tons of flashbacks here.
Yeah, and I like it.
Yeah, and I like the flashbacks. So in this past week, they kind of revealed that one of the characters is Pennywise's, not the clown, but like the guy who used to be an actual clown before it killed him and took over his body, or whatever, his form. Like, one of the characters is his daughter, and I think that's pretty cool. I don't know where they're going with that, but they reveal that some of the scenes in the show, where we've seen it, has actually been the daughter in disguise, which is a little goofy, but I think it's just crazy enough that it works.
Yeah, did you fully understand that whole sequence? Because I need clarification on it. So they revealed that her father, I can't think of the character's name. I think the actress is Madeline Stowe.
Yeah, Ingrid Kirsch.
Yes,
is the character.
So her father was a carnival clown, and he was Pennywise, the dancing clown, is the full name. And she's interested in everything that's happening with these characters, because she's trying to, I guess, bring back or have her father's spirit or ghost come back.
Yeah, she's trying to reconnect.
Yeah, I guess trying to summon it or like see if he got summoned, but I'm not understanding how we got this entity that crash landed, blah blah blah. What's the connection with her father being Pennywise the clown, like, and this entity?
So
like, how did he become one? Or like I completely.
The theory is that like so it crashed on Earth centuries ago, and it was pretty much dormant until humans settled there. And the theory is that eventually, because it feeds on children, because children are the easiest to scare and then eat, it took the form of a clown because children love clowns. So
yeah, and that's all. I get all that up until that point, but how did her father specifically? How is her father specifically involved? Like, how
well, I
is
think pretty
Pennywise
sure
a
like
carnival dancing clown?
Pennywise probably killed her father and then just like took the form of her father. So
Okay,
when you
but they didn't.
see,
They didn't. But what I'm saying is, they didn't say that when she was revealing everything to.
no, I don't even think she knows that happened. I don't think like
To really.
that hasn't been revealed.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a little up in the air. It's like, oh, okay, like Pennywise the clown was your father, but it's like, okay, how is he the entity?
But yeah, I think so. In the beginning of the episode, there's a little girl in Juniper, and this is like a flashback to 1935. She says there's a clown in the basement.
Yeah.
Ingrid takes her there, and then she sees the clown, and the clown is dressed like Pennywise, like her dad, basically. And that's when she's like, holy shit, my dad is here. I thought he was dead. And then since then, she's tried to reconnect with the clown. In episode 3 is another flashback to 1935 where we see Ingrid, who I now assume is Ingrid, dressed as Pennywise. You see like a girl in like a wide shot sitting down, and she's wearing like the Pennywise costume. So I think she might have been like her dad's assistant or something, but you do see that.
Was that when they were doing the flashback of the boy who ended up being the like sergeant or general
Yeah.
the army, when his father took him to the carnival and when he went into the fun house and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, I caught that there was like a little clown in the like wide shot. And
yes. So that apparently that's her. She was like, her dad's assistant or whatever. We'll find all this stuff out. But I imagine the next episode is just going to be like a full blown flashback to explain all this stuff, and then we'll have the finale where
the whole town like goes at them. Hopefully,
yeah, the whole town just like explodes. That's what I'm thinking. But what do you think of? And how do you like see Pennywise's powers, I guess, or like his ability? Because from watching the movies, I feel like I had an understanding of what his abilities were, which was like to manifest people's fears in front of them. But there was an episode here where for most of the episode he was like playing Maddie, that kid that had disappeared. Remember, then he shows up in the tent and he's like, "Hey, we all got to go back down to the sewers." You remember the episode where they go down to the sewers?
That was the episode before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I don't have an answer for that one. But I agree with everything you said about his powers and like how he uses fear and everything. Like that's been made really apparent from the show and the movies. I think the most important explanation of his powers and how he gets around and everything is I don't remember what episode it was, maybe 3 or 4, when they had the flashback to the Native American tribe and how they contained it.
Mm-hmm.
And how he, to them in their folklore, he's like it's like a spirit or something.
Yeah. Well, he's trapped.
Yeah, but they, lay it out too, that it's based on the fear, and so that's pretty apparent. But yeah, when that episode, that whole thing threw me off. The whole thing with the sewers, it was cool because it was like the first taste you got in the whole series of like just like him like chasing and like really being involved, like it really being involved in a scene. But Yeah, it's confusing. I didn't. Again, they went. He was just in the tent. The kid was in the tent, and it's like I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting like the kid to be it the whole time, pretending to be like, because as far as I know, like he can't just like morph into somebody or just be.
Yeah, this is completely.
So that threw me off.
A different aspect of what we know with the playing on your fears and having you imagine things and see things and.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna be. He could be anybody now. So
he's physically, anybody. So another thing that I'm not liking too much, I think they overdid, was the one of the military guys, the guy that was like telekinetic or psychic.
Oh yeah,
see things. Goes into his, when it goes into his dream world and everything, and it's like they're overdoing it, and I don't like that. I don't like him being in like, oh, let me go into like the dream world and chase him through there and stuff, but whatever.
I like that they're merging the Shining and Doctor Sleep stories with this It story. I think for the first time, like they're right, because that character, he's from those other movies, Dick Halloran. So him being here and having his powers interact with like It is pretty cool.
I don't know. He's in other movies?
Yeah, he's the guy from The Shining. He's I forgot who he is, but
old guy at the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's who this character is.
How'd you find that out? You just read into
like, just read it. Yeah, I was just reading to the lore.
And it's the same name and everything. Same name.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's cool, and that makes sense because that takes place in the 80s. He would be older by then. He'd be like in his 60s and stuff. So
yeah, and it's like
he's like in his 30s now, and it's the 50s, then 60s, then he'd be like, that's cool. And then he's in what else?
He's in Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
I haven't seen that yet.
So I think he's played by a different actor in that one, but obviously like the Shining, which is like his telepathic ability, is being used here, and I think it's pretty cool. The whole like open box thing and what It opening up the box did. I guess you just said see dead people now, but hopefully they do something more interesting with that.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool because we're seeing this character's backstory too. He was like, he was in the military and he was being used by them as a weapon, a secret weapon because he hinted at like other missions he had done right before that. That's because of his ability. That's why he's in the military in the first place.
Yeah, he's basically a weapon. He's one of the best characters, I think. Like, he's somebody who is just going through shit. Like, he's especially like he had a huge argument with damn man, what's his name?
The main guy?
Yeah,
Leroy Hanman.
Yeah, Will or Leroy. Oh yeah, Leroy.
Will's his son.
Yeah, like they had that huge argument. And I felt like it really came through like that. He was Dick Halloran was having a really, really hard time, man, after that whole episode. So I'm curious to see how that all of these, different stories, because you have what's his name? You have Leroy and the wife, you have Will and the rest of the kids, and then you have Dick. And like how all these forces, and then you still have the Native Americans who they were absent last episode, and I hope they come back because there's some important characters there too.
The episode previous to that, it was they were really involved with Rose and her what is it, son or nephew?
Yeah, Taniel.
That also has psychic abilities.
Taniel, well, he had like the dagger that hurts it, and bro just dropped it and pieced out of the sewers. We never saw him again. But yeah, Rose and Taniel, I would think they come back because I'd love to see that part of the story.
There's so many ways this story could have been told. Like I was thinking to myself, like like the Predator series, they just so many movies came out and it was like the same concept, and then they came out with Prey, and it was just a completely different way of telling a Predator story.
Yeah.
But this show is telling the It story in the exact same way that the movies did it. Like it could have been told from like the Native American tribes perspective. It could have been told through this character you're talking about, Dick Halloran. It could have just been like through his perspective. Like it could have focused on any one of these characters, or just the kids, and just ran with that. But instead, they're giving you like all these characters. The whole. I guess it's because it's called Welcome to Derry. It's about the whole town itself.
Yeah, but you could have. To your point, it would have been cool to focus on like, just like a husband and wife who aren't really like involved with the monster, but you know how like the town is just evil and mean, like they hint at that, like something's wrong with the people in Derry, like somebody
like
just,
that first episode when you see like that kid getting beat up outside and Charlotte like runs out of I think, I don't know where she was,
the butcher shop or something.
She was in a store and just like she's the only one stopping it.
I feel like we're leaving the town behind a little bit as a character, and there's some hint. She was walking in that same episode. She was like walking through town, and she's getting all these kinds of stares. And there's like this controversial over the Paul Bunyan statue for some reason. We never saw that again.
And it's the first thing you see in the intro of the show, like the animated sort of intro of the show, is that Paul Bunyan statue.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree, man. Like when this show was first announced and like trailers were coming out and the name was revealed, you kind of thought the town was gonna be more, there was gonna be more lore. Maybe the kids end up going to like the public library again and finding out more stuff. And even though we knew Derry was this former Native American territory, and the story goes all the way back to them, and we saw how like, okay, they revealed it got settled, it became Derry. Like, yeah, they revealed all that, but a little more.
Yeah, you can do just two things. To your point about how the movie, like the kids go into the library and they kind of figure it out. In this one, they figure it out almost immediately, because Will, when they're at like the water tower, wherever they hang out, they're like, they immediately figure out that he preys on fear. They immediately figure out that he's in the sewers. Like they solve everything so fast. And when you have a television series, you would think you would have time for the kids to, maybe out of curiosity, look into this like the other movies. Yeah, the kids are in the library. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They eventually stumble upon it. But in this one, it just seems like they're all like super smart, figured it out immediately. They're all super brave, and they go right at them. That's when they lose me a little bit. And yeah, I think the town is getting left behind. That episode where Charlotte, they just move here, and she goes to like the antique store, she goes to the butcher shop, she really interacts with the town. That could be, we can spend a little more time just like getting to know where we are and who's who and why we should care about these characters and this place. It's called Welcome to Derry. We should learn a little bit more, both from the Native American side, who I think they actually explain a lot of shit in like a good way. And everyone else is kind of just going about their business, driving the plot.
What do you think about I know for like years and a long time before the show and before I think even the remakes, it was like a big thing where people always thought, fans of the book and the franchise always mentioned like, oh, it's an alien, like it is an alien. Like I remember hearing friends and like stuff mentioning that, and I was always like, really? Like how come they never talk about that or mention that? And now in the series we learn that it is some sort of alien. It's not native to this planet. It came in I don't know what they're calling it, but the material of like the dagger and like when they showed it in the crash site, that doesn't look like a meteorite. That could be a spaceship, you know, if you want to take it that far, you know, like it's just like too clean the material that it was trapped in and made out of. Like maybe it wasn't trapped, maybe it was a spaceship that crashed.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact lore, but the lore is out there. But yeah, it is an alien or an entity. It's not an alien in like ET or like the movie Alien, but it's like just like this other entity.
Yeah, it's extraterrestrial. It's out of this planet, and they're kind of like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I feel like what they're showing of the crash and the crash site and the remnants of it from this other world, like it doesn't look natural. Like it looks like you know, too polished and clean, like what they're showing. So I don't know, man. A little bit of the sci-fi lover in me has a little bit of hope that they're gonna do a little more with this alien theory.
Yeah, I think they should, even though like that's not, I don't like where it comes from. I think it is explained in the books. I just watched a video on it like last week. It goes pretty deep. I don't know how much of that is actually in the books. I don't think they're going to explain much of it in the show because I think.
But it's the first out of all the movies. This show is the first one to actually touch up on it and show you, like, yes, that was, if people were hinting at that, like they were correct. You know, I think if you're someone like me who's like friends and heard other people mention it and didn't know anything about like the background or the lore or the books, and you're like, nah, that's not true. But like this kind of like, you know, this is confirming it. Like this thing crash landed on Earth.
Yeah, but didn't in It Part 2, didn't they send it back, or am I mistaken, to like wherever it came from? I might have to rewatch that because I thought they did realize.
But was there a specific mention of it being from another? You know,
that I'm not.
That's what I'm referring to. That it's they're specifying. You know, it's specific. Like the military confirmed that this thing crash landed on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretty heavy-handed with that. There was no subtlety. Whereas in the other movies, you know, the thing about it and Derry is that I remember them saying in the older movies that this happens, that everyone forgets. Like there's this mist or something in the air where everyone forgets about it every 30 years. So that's why it keeps coming back.
Yep.
That's like part of the lore. So yeah, I think even if they mention they got the military, like it's gonna be a lot of people to forget because in 30 years, you know, we have the It movie that we all watched in theaters. And then It Part 2 is 28 years after that one. So we have, you know, 3 cycles basically on screen for this.
Yeah, 3 generations, you know, starting in the 30s, 20s, 30s.
Lost you there for a bit.
Oh no, I was just saying that, yeah, I mean, we've got, in viewing the franchise in its entirety, we've got at least 3 or 4 generations, right? Starting in the 20s, 30s, then this thing in the 50s, and then the 80s with the kids, and then with them as adults, you know?
Yeah.
Spanning 3 to 4 generations.
I'm curious if they have already announced further seasons or if they only signed on to do the first one.
And I don't want to even know about it until this season is over, because I think everything we talked about today is kind of hinting at them finding some sort of closure for the time being, at least in this era, the 50s, 60s era of this It story.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we might also be proved wrong with everything we said, and maybe they haven't focused on the town so much because that's coming up, or maybe they haven't focused on any one set of characters too much because that's coming up. You know, maybe, I mean, episode 1 was so crazy that like they killed off all the kids. that we started the series off with, and then took us to another set of kids. So maybe, who knows? Maybe they may kill everyone off and then
start over,
there could
or
be a
like
season 2 that picks up with like just one person left or a new set of characters. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they can do the 1935 version. I think they can do that.
There's more meat. There's more meat in that story, in the flashbacks. There could be a whole season about the flashbacks era.
They can do like the Native American story where they encounter it and figure out what it is, and then ultimately imprison it. Like, that's a dope story. Like, how do they do that? How do they find where its layer? How do they capture it? How do they know to use the material? All that.
And they told it. The abridged version of it in the flashback with
a little bit, yeah.
But like I said, referring to Prey, how they took the Predator story and redid it, and like they could have made a whole movie on that, just on just the Native American stories of it.
This, I'm just reading here. This the first three. It's HBO Max's third most watched debut, behind House of the Dragon and The Last of Us. So it's seems like it's a hit.
I would have never thought that, because
no,
because I think I guess besides House of the Dragon, I think HBO's been kind of missing recently on their shows, not in terms of quality, but in terms of mass reach. Like we had The Penguin, seemed like it was going to be big, and it kind of just like poofed. And they had
that was dope. I know it was dope, man.
I'm not talking about the quality or the content of the shows. I'm talking about the reach of it. Like, these things becoming like, like what we thought Pluribus was going to be or something.
That's true. There isn't. I think House of Dragon, Last of Us, at least Last of Us, the first season was a big hit. Even House of the Dragon kind of fizzled off, to be honest. But yeah, HBO has not had a big hit. I guess now you have The Pit, which we love, coming back next month.
Yeah. And that's a show that probably like it's gonna increase in viewership with a new season,
Yeah, and that's a show that's just like, what if we brought it back to the basics and just did a 90s like hospital drama?
Yeah, it's not gonna fizzle out like some of these other shows. So
yeah. Okay. We'll kill it there. I'm looking forward to the final 2 episodes and wrap this up. It's a cool show because it's interesting, and to your point, like I think one of the biggest draws is the lore and just like getting these little details of like where this entity came from and how it shapes the people closest to it. And Derry as a town. Hopefully we get more of that. Cool. We'll leave it there, guys. We'll see you next time. And Pedro, I was thinking about like what to do for Christmas. What if we do like horror winter movies, like horror snow movies? Or maybe
that's
just
a possibility.
Like something like that.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And then we'll be doing the finale of it and Pluribus, since they're both kind of like on the same trajectory to end around the same time. And isn't it crazy how like these shows just started, like we're getting entire seasons of shows in like 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
Like you start something at the start of 1 month, and then like halfway through the second month, it's done.
Yeah, and then we don't get anything for 2 years.
Like you get a premiere. I think it was Derry, not Pluribus, that had a 2-episode premiere.
Yeah.
And then 1 episode a week with the 6 episodes left. That's 6 weeks. Total of 7 weeks. No, actually 6 weeks, because from 1 week to the next, you get a 2-episode premiere, and then the next week you get the 3rd episode. That's 3 episodes in 1 week. Like these seasons are just flying, man. They just fly by. It's just like
Pluribus has
they're just
4 episodes left.
Yeah, they're going by so fast that it's like you start it 1 month, and by the next month the season's done. And,
I just finished last night The Chair Company. That's a show that like I'll just have on in the background. A bunch of crazy shit happens.
And they finished the season. That season's done.
Yeah, and they renewed for season 2.
Yeah, and that show just again, also started like maybe like a little over a month ago, you know, maybe like 5 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, I think that was
started around the same time as Derry, I think.
Yeah, it did.
I think they might have even premiered the same week.
Yeah, 8 episodes. Yeah, they might have premiered yeah, they I think might have started earlier, but yeah, it was Derry and then Chair Company right after. Weird show, cool show. It's only like 30-minute episodes, so I was able to watch it. Surprised that it's coming back though, to be honest. I guess they found an audience.
That guy's hot right now.
Yeah. Guys, we'll leave it there. We'll see you next week. Peace.